edition.
It's Friday, May 4. Good evening. Welcome to CVM Live, our 90-minute news program. I'm Richard Chen. And here are some of the stories the CVM Live news team is working on for our major stories at 8. Police recover high-powered weapons with several rounds of ammunition in St. James. And the debate on new Road Traffic Act continues in the Senate. And in a CVM Live special story, we track the return of illegal tints on public passenger vehicles. Some of the stories our news team is working on for major stories again at the top of the hour. But first, let us say hello to my co-anchor, Ashley and Foster. Ashley?
Happy to see you on Friday, Richard.
Good to see you.
It's always great to be starting the weekend with everybody at home, online, or wherever you are. Thank you so much for spending your Friday evening with us right here on CVM Live, on CVM Television, your news authority. We're going to begin right now with breaking news. The plane that went missing yesterday was found in pieces in Prospect near Duncan's in Trelawney. Reports reaching CVM Live from the police are that the plane crashed in the bushes. 3 men found dead, 2 pilots, 1 mechanic. Richard, we've been tracking this since yesterday.
Yes.
We heard yesterday that a Cessna 2065 aircraft departed Montego Bay for Tinson Pen. At about 4:36 p.m., the plane went off the radar.
Yes.
We heard that there was a civil military operation today, and the plane was recovered 2 miles south of Duncan's, Trelawney.
Right, so the plane went off of radar, but they had a rough idea where it was, and they used a helicopter to try to locate it. And clearly it took them some time because it obviously was not in a populated area. It must have been out in the bushes somewhere. It went off the radar, they said, somewhere near Duncan's, and she turned up somewhere in the Prospect area.
Right, so as you said, a JDF helicopter located the crash site, and at this time, word coming from the military, Major Basil Jarrett is telling us that they have not ascertained the reason for this tragic crash, but the military and the police and the first responders are working to try to figure out what went wrong with that Cessna.
Right, and they have not released the names of the identities of the persons involved, the tragic deaths of the persons involved, and the names of the individuals.
Sincere condolences to the families of the 2 pilots and the mechanic, but we're going to turn now to another major developing story. The Jamaica Defence Force, again, the Coast Guard, seized approximately 765 pounds of compressed marijuana when it intercepted a vessel off of the coast of Westmoreland. 3 men, 1 Haitian and 2 Jamaican nationals, were held in connection with the seizure. The 3 men were spotted throwing a number of packages overboard. The Coast Guard team recovered these packages. There were 5 packages that were thrown overboard, and another 11 were still on the vessel. So the packages were found to contain contraband. And of course, we can guess what this contraband is.
It's ganja, of course.
Marijuana. And containers with fuel, 150 gallons of fuel, was also seized. So it's strongly suspected that this bust is connected to the guns for drugs trade between Jamaicans and Haitians. And this is something that we need to cripple. This is something that we need to cut. Because everybody, when we talk about ZOSO, state of emergency, enhanced security measures, the big question is, where are the guns coming from, and why can't we find the guns? But I think you have another story for us on the guns.
Well, I mean, before we go to the story, there's definitely a connection that we all know between Jamaica and Haiti in terms of the gun trade. And what happens is that guns are prevalent in Haiti and are cheap. And Haiti, on the flip side, wants things from Jamaica, and ganja, of course, being one of them.
Right.
So, well, and breaking news in other stories reaching CVM Live tonight, the St. James police made a major gun find this afternoon in Ramble Hill, Bogue, St. James, as they uncovered 4 high-powered weapons and several rounds of ammunition. During a special operation, the lawmen made the discovery, including 4 M16 rifles along with police vests, which creates a major dent in crime operations in the parish. That's criminal operations in the parish.
Yeah.
So good find by the police. I mean, we have often criticized the police for, well, not the police, but the operations in St. James. There's a state of emergency, and it has not yielded the amount of guns and other things that we'd have expected to.
All right, so
this is a major find and a major plus for the police and the forces of law and order in the parish.
So we can answer the question I asked earlier, where are the guns? Well, clearly some guns are up there in Ramble, St. James. That's a great find for the Jamaica Defence Force and the military, who we assume assisted them, but the Jamaica Constabulary Force, good find. 11:35 a.m. Breaking news. So this search was uncovered really. 3:35 a.m. with the 4 assault rifles, 5 magazines, yet 150 rounds, 4 ballistic vests, marked police, by the way. But breaking news, 4 other weapons were found.
Well, what's great about it, obviously the police were acting on information because they found the guns in the bushes. So it's not as if they were walking and they stumbled upon them. And the guns that were found, these are high-powered weapons, high-powered rifles, M16s. Normally they're used by the military. And, you know, they wreak a lot of damage. It can create a lot of damage. Right. And a major find by the police. And we can't say enough about that. It is a good job by the police force in St. James.
So this is a win for the state of emergency in St. James. This is a big win, and we hope to see more finds like this. And the Jamaica Defence Force has done an excellent job today. The Jamaica Constabulary Force too has done an excellent job today. So we must applaud these fellows who are working overtime in St. James, Western Jamaica, and throughout all the enhanced security measures. So 4 additional guns were just found. Breaking news. Well done, fellows.
I mean, we have often criticized the police. We have often spoke about whether the necessity of having the states of emergency and maintaining the states of emergency in St. James. Of course, this does not answer the question. But again, because the police has done a good job in finding these very dangerous weapons, we cannot say enough about it for the police, and we cannot congratulate them enough.
Right. So we have the gentleman himself leading the search today, Elon Powell, Assistant Commissioner of Police. Good evening, sir. You led a sterling operation today. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, and thank you on behalf of the hard-working men and women of the JCF and JDF.
Can you tell us a little bit about what led you to discover these firearms and about the discovery itself?
Well, we have been targeting a number of areas in St. James, and from time to time we move to different areas. Today we were in this area, decided to do a comprehensive search of the area, as we would have done in other areas. And in our first search this morning, we found the 4 M16 rifles, 4 bulletproof vests, 6 magazines, along with 156 rounds of 5.56 cartridges. We also found cleaning equipment for these weapons. But it didn't stop there. We carried out further search of the area, and we found 2 9mm Glock pistols. We found a .38 revolver, and we found a Mach 11 fitted with a silencer. We also found hundreds of rounds of ammunition and several magazines. Some of the magazines are unique. We have never seen those before. There's a magazine for the Glock that carries 100 rounds. We have never seen one like that in Jamaica.
Wow, so was this an intelligence-driven operation, ACP? The Prime Minister in Parliament told us that over in St. James, in the state of emergency, the police were acting upon intelligence.
Well, as I said, we have intelligence on a number of areas, and we move to these areas at different times. And so this is one of those operations today. The police have over time been canvassing different areas, collecting different information, getting different intelligence. And so we have data banks of intelligence. And so that would lead us to different areas.
ACP, it's reported that the vests that were found had police written on them. Is that the case? Was that the case?
Well, two of them had police written on them. One, we could see that the markings was actually done not by police, but by criminal elements or somebody other than police, because we have specific markings for our vests. Those markings that we saw on one of them did not resemble the markings that we would do on vests.
But ACP, what of the others? Are the others vests belonging to the Jamaica Constabulary Force?
No, that investigation is going on as we speak to determine whether or not the other two are belonging to the JCF. There was one resembling those worn by the JDF, even though it didn't have JDF written on it. So all that investigation is going on. Remember, we just found that today. And as a matter of fact, I just came out of the field. Having found the other guns, we just came out of the field.
Can you tell us, ACP, you mentioned an extended search. So the 4 guns that were just found, most recently found, were those found in a different area upon new intelligence, or is it all connected to the intelligence which you acted upon this morning at 11:35 a.m.?
All connected. We didn't leave that area. Having found those today, we didn't leave that area. We continued in the area for the entire afternoon.
There's no evidence. Do you know whether these guns are connected to any ongoing investigation or any particular crime?
All those checks we are doing now. The ballistic examinations will be done, and so we'll be better able to inform you of those results at a later date. But as of now, we have found 8 guns, hundreds of rounds, and several magazines. I think that is what we have now. The investigations will continue. We will do the forensic examinations. All of that will be done subsequently.
ACP, this is the first major gun find within the state of emergency in St. James, isn't it?
It is the highest number. This is the highest number we have found. But we are hopeful that we will find even higher numbers in days to come.
And can you tell us what the morale of your team is like now, and the entire crew, the entire complement of both JDF and JCF on the ground today? Are you feeling good? Is there a boost in the morale?
They're over the moon. They're over the moon. They're so enthusiastic.
Well, ACP,
they're just ready to continue working.
ACP, thank you very much. And we congratulate you again and keep that morale high. Thank you much.
Thank you much. And thanks for the support, and we need the continued support.
Okay. So a good job there by ACP Elon Paul and his team. And what we must also stress again is the fact that there were 4 M16 rifles, and he said another machine gun was found.
Right.
Submachine gun was found.
Breaking news, CVM Live exclusive. You heard it here first. CVM Live exclusive.
Quite a big find by the police.
4 more guns.
So it's Friday, and our Friday feature is, of course, the cultural agenda. And this is where a stakeholder in the industry speaks on a topic of importance. Our guest this evening is performative art maker Kim Lee, and she'll be speaking to us on a vision for Jamaica's creative industry. Kim, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us quickly about your vision for the creative industry in Jamaica.
Well, to be honest, I would like to see a more expansive Jamaica in terms of the way that we consume art, the way that we use our resources here in terms of artistic spaces, incubator spaces, how people in general in terms of in the creative industry are supported. You know what I mean? In terms of how do we make artistic work or cultural work acceptable within not only us as artists and feeding it to ourselves, but within society. You know what I mean? Like, how do we make that work for everybody in terms of community?
So, of course, when we talk about art in Jamaica, there's a focus on our music. Do you think that as a performative artist, in your case, not necessarily a producer of music, that you're like a lesser cousin, you're looked at, you're not encouraged, you don't get encouragement either from corporate Jamaica or from the government?
Yeah, I mean, I have to be careful when I answer this question. But for me, it is very limited in terms of the support that is given throughout. And I won't say that we are the lesser, but I understand the context of which you're talking about it, right? Because the support systems and the structures, it's not balanced. right? So we talk about reggae and we talk about the music industry in terms of dance hall, but you know what I mean, it's a lived cultural expression, and lived cultural expressions come through us in different forms. So the physicalization, so I deal with movement a lot. The dramaturge, like if you are somebody who's interested in theater, for example, the support structures are definitely imbalanced. And you feel it, not just me personally, but the economists of us.
You know what's
what I
interesting,
mean?
Kim? That when we speak to persons in reggae music or even dance hall, they complain that there is a lack of a support structure for them as well. So there seems to be quite a strain on the creative arts in general because of a lack of a structure. But with regard to your specific portfolio, how do you see, what is your vision for the development and what do we need to do as Jamaicans to support arts?
Well, I'm thinking more about along the lines of, if I'm thinking about vision, right? I see where Kingston can be and should be the creative hub or center, right, for the Caribbean. I see that in terms of it's a possibility, right? Because we've gifted the country already, or the world rather, a lot in terms of genres, in terms of even just in music, but not just specifically with music, right? So I'm seeing where we need to think about how we can create a art district, something that is generated. And this is not just from me, because you have a lot of artists right now who are lobbying for this thing to happen. Think about incubator systems. Think about spaces where artists can come and just share with each other. You know what I mean? Because it's not just about streaming funds. It's about people being able to come together and share their own artistic practice.
But doesn't this have to be driven by the art community itself? Isn't this impetus for this have to come forcefully from the art community? Persons like yourself.
Like a cooperative.
Well, you know, it's there, and I will say that. So we are driving for these things to happen, but everybody needs to realize that lived practices that come from within us as artists, it's not our work alone to do, because we need a lot of backing. Right? So in terms of the different skills, you know, I met with different people and they've always said to me, well, the artist will do what the artist does, right? But in society, when you have lived practices coming out, we need people around to also support those structures. So the impetus is there, and you have a lot of people rallying right now, you know, as a movement to get that vision, to push that vision. But we need the support.
Rallying how?
Rallying how? Well, I can't say much about how we are rallying, but I do know that there's a lot of link-ups and meetups that are happening right now. So myself, I've started a creative hub and development project for artists, right? And it's called Carib Funk. And that is basically a space to help artists, to support artists in whatever needs they need, like in terms of the backing. So marketing, in terms of how do we talk about development of professionalism, how do we talk about aligning ourselves to certain policies or even creating that, because we all know that we have a lack of policy in this country when it comes to the creative economy. You know what I mean? So it's just having those structures in place and trying to do it alone without the voice of even government is difficult.
It is difficult.
Right? It is very difficult.
Well, we'll see how you can build your art community here in Jamaica. Again, to present another gift to the world besides the music that we have here.
Okay.
Kim, thanks for joining us on CVM Live.
Thank you.
Well, social media is next, and this is where we share with you the very latest across the platforms. Here's CVM Live's social media.
Thanks, guys. Now, wrapping up day 4 of the month of children, we found this amazing young lady in our social spaces. Take a look.
My name is Natalie Wamboy, and I'm 10 years old. I'm in class 5, and I'm an author and a poet. When people started knowing that I write and the media started reaching out to me, my mother sat me down and told me that my biggest challenge was to offer myself as a good example to those who will be coming after me. And that is a challenge to all of us. You have to have a reason as to why you do what you do. For me, I'm a writer, and whenever I go somewhere, people normally ask me, how did you start writing? Why did you start writing at such a tender age? And my answer is usually the same. I write to open up a blind eye. I write to bring truth to life. I write to show you my opinion. I write to tell you that there is always another way to do something. I write to undress the lies. I write to bring darkness to light. I write to tell you that everyone is different. I write to tell you that not everyone will like you. I write to remind you that the world is diverse. I write to tell you that racism, nepotism, terrorism, and tribalism are real.
Well, Natalie Wamboy, she did a 10-minute speech and we just played you 2 minutes of it, so you can go look for it and listen to the other 8 minutes. That's it for SM today. Make sure you join us again for more on Monday. Have a great weekend.
Well, I'm definitely going to look for the other 8 minutes of that presentation.
Me too.
That was brilliant.
It's inspirational.
And definitely inspirational.
Oh, yeah.
Well, coming up, significant achievement by the government, record decline in unemployment, and increase in new jobs. But what does this all mean for the economy? And is it impacted by crime? That's our panel discussion.
Well, coming up straight ahead in major stories, major gun find and ammunition find in St. James. We have the pictures for you.
And in a CVM Live story, marked increase in illegal tints on the nation's streets.
And new Road Traffic Act debate continued in the Senate. More breaking, exclusive, developing stories coming up next in your Friday Major Stories with Richard after the break.
Come alive and be inspired with TED Talks. For talks that will change your life, join the entertainment station of choice, CVM TV for TED Talks. Be bold, be challenged, be informed. Be inspired with an awesome program. Come alive and be inspired with TED Talks.
When our family becomes a part of yours, you are Sagicor Strong. Let us put a smile on your face. Family strong, Sagicor Strong.
The time by Sagicor is
8 o'clock.
Now you have a direct voice in CVM News. Say what you think on the CVM Say What question of the day and see yourself during CVM Live. Here's how. Watch CVM TV every weekday from noon through to the start of CVM Live for the Say What question of the day, or check our Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter pages from 2 p.m. Make sure the CVM WhatsApp number is saved in your phone contacts, 822-9315. Then once you know the Say What question of the day, get involved. Turn your phone horizontally because we're HD, then record your 10 to 15 second selfie video and send it to 822-9315. Say what? 822-9315 on CVM TV, Jamaica's news authority.